Hello, today we will be covering the networking overview, which can be essential to know uh, for CompTIA Network Plus exam. So this is a audio, and we will just be going through fundamentals of networking overview. So I will not be sharing any presentation or something. So while walking or running, you simply can listen to this podcast type thing in maybe 2x speed or whichever speed it suits you. So let's get started. So first of all, network. So what is a network? So a network is two or more computer systems that are linked by a transmission medium and share one or more protocols that enable them to exchange data. So basically, network is more than one computer, right, connected via a transmission medium. So you can think of any network in terms of nodes and links. Nodes are devices that send, receive, and forward the data. And the links are the communications pathways between them. So, for example, like if we have two computers, they are connected via LAN cable. We know that those nodes can exchange information, right? So that's what a network is all about. So two or more computer systems that are linked by a transmission medium and nodes. We can think of network as nodes and links. Nodes are devices that send, receive, and forward data, and links are the communications pathways between them. Generally, like there are two kinds of nodes. One is intermediate node, and the other one is end node. So intermediate nodes actually perform a forward function, while the end nodes are those nodes that send and receive data traffic. End systems or end nodes are often also referred to as hosts. Okay, so we can call them the hosts as well. So what we have covered so far is one is what is a network, right? So network can be understood as nodes and links between them, right? And know what are nodes? Nodes are the devices that can send data, that can receive data, and that can forward data. And links are nothing but the transmission communication pathways between nodes, right? Transmission medium. So this can be considered as a network. Now in network, when we say we have nodes and links, so nodes can be intermediate nodes or they can be end nodes. If the nodes are intermediate nodes, probably they will be performing a function of forwarding the data, while end nodes are nodes that receive and send the data. So end nodes are also referred to as hosts. We can call them hosts as well. Just few terminologies. Now client server versus peer-to-peer network. So now as we have just gone through two general type of nodes, intermediate nodes and end nodes. So end nodes can be either client or it can be server. So now we are talking about two different type of networks. One is the client server type of network and the other one is peer to peer network, right? So end nodes can be classified as either client or it can be a server. So now what is client, what is server? So client is generally requesting for information from the server. So basically, a server makes network applications and resources available to other hosts, and a client consumes the services provided by the servers. Simple, right? So overall client server network is the one where some nodes act as the clients, right? And servers are the more powerful computers. So application services and resources are centrally provisioned, managed and secured. Okay. Then peer-to-peer network. Peer-to-peer network is the one where each host acts as both client and server. So this is a decentralized model where provision, management and security of services and data are distributed around the network. So a small peer-to-peer network can also be referred to as a work group. So somebody might ask, what is the key differentiator between client server network and peer-to-peer network, right? So if we are centrally managing application services and resources on a specific node and the other nodes are requesting those services and resources to the central node, then it is kind of a client server network. But in peer to peer network, like every node acts as client and server. So every act every node act as client and server both. So it is a decentralized kind of model, right? And as we said, like a small peer-to-peer network. So if we have a peer-to-peer network, a small peer-to-peer network, we can also refer as work group, right? So that is what the differentiation is. If centrally managed, provisioned, managed, and secured, then client server. If decentralized, then it's peer-to-peer network. Now, businesses and enterprise networks are typically client server, and residential networks are more often peer-to-peer network. However, there is one note that in a client server network, often hosts will function as both clients and server at the same time. Because, for example, there is a computer which is hosting a web application, so it acts as a server to browse to browser clients, right? But is itself a client of database services running on other server computers. So overall, it's the centrally administered nature of the network that really defines it as client server. So as we said earlier, so client server network is centralized one, peer to peer network is decentralized one. Now the next thing is, somewhere you might heard few terms like appliances, applications and functions. So we can think of a network as having appliances, applications and functions. these three things. So appliances are what? So networks make use of many types of specialized platforms, which we call appliances. So appliance is a computer with an operating system and software designed to perform a particular network role. So like what could be the network role? Network role could include switches, routers, wireless access points that forward the data, or firewall or intrusion detection system that enforce security rules, load balancers, proxies that improve network performance. So all these are the different network roles, right? So we can have switches, we can have routers, we can have load balancer, we can have wireless access point, we can have proxies, we can have firewalls, we can have intrusion detection systems. So now basically these are the network roles. Now these network roles will be performed by a appliance. So appliance is basically a computer with operating system and a software designed to perform this particular network role, right? So for example, if we talk about a switch, so it is a network role. Now who will perform this role? Who will do the switching? Again, that will be a appliance or a device that will be having operating system and a specific software for performing the switching operation, right? So overall, in a network will always have set of appliances, right? Then appliances can be virtual appliances. Okay. So for now, we can just remember that appliance can be deployed as physical hardware, meaning that appliance OS and software runs on its own CPU, memory, storage, network interfaces. So for example, in a network, a independent or a computer or laptop PC, can be considered as a it can be considered as a physical device, right? It has its own software, it has its own CPU, memory, storage, network interfaces, like that. But it is also possible to deploy virtual appliances. So it means that appliance OS is deployed as a virtual machine running on a hypervisor computing platform, right? So the same hypervisor computer could run multiple virtual appliances. Okay. Then second thing is applications. The nodes and links of networking infrastructure are deployed to run services. Services are shared applications that allow the network to do useful work, such as sharing files, allowing employees to send email, like that. And the third thing is functions. Networks can be configured with additional properties to perform different functions. For example, the security properties of a virtual private network allow devices to join a local network from across the internet. Another example is like quality of service functionality allows optimization of a network to suit a particularly time sensitive application such as voice or video. Okay. So overall, we can think of network as having appliances, applications, and functions. Now, somebody might think of what is the difference between application and function. Okay, so let's go through this. Google search and check this thing. I have not fully understood difference between application and function in below paragraph. And then this is my paragraph. Okay, so let's see what it says. So appliance we have particularly understood. So appliance is a dedicated piece of hardware or a virtual machine, right? It can be physical hardware having its own OS, CPU, memory, storage, network interfaces like that, or it can be a virtual machine, or it can be a virtual appliance, right? So applications are the services like email, file sharing, web browsing. So the keyword is shared. Application or service is shared. One, for example, one email server serves all employees, one file server serves all computers, one printer serves all desks, one DHCP server serves all devices, right? So that is what makes it a service. It provides value to multiple users through the network simultaneously. Without the network, each person would need their own private copy of everything. With the network, everyone shares one central resource, right? And function is a special, so functions are not separate things. They are not a piece of hardware. They are not a running service. It is a special property or capability that you add to the network to change how it behaves. It is a special property or capability that you add to the network to change how it behaves, right? So think of it like settings on your camera. So camera is what? Camera is a appliance. It still exists. Now photos, application service still happen, but you can enable special modes like night mode, portrait mode, video mode, right? So camera is same, function of taking photos is the same, but the special mode changes the behavior. So functions are exactly same things. Functions work exactly like this for networks. So for example, virtual private network. So without VPN function, we are at home. Our home network is separate from the company's office network. We cannot access company files or internal systems from home, right? But now we had with VPN function enabled. Our home laptop connects to the internet. VPN function creates a secure tunnel throughout the internet. Your laptop now behaves as if it is sitting inside the office network. So we can access all company files and internal systems, right? So what changed here? So we have the same routers, we have the same file server. Just a function was added that changed how the network behaves for your device. So VPN is not a new application, it is the property of the network, a way that network can behave under certain conditions, right? So that is what we have covered in this. So in this networking concepts overview, we have gone through what is a network, right? Then we can think of it as nodes and links between them. Nodes are devices that can send data, that can receive the data, that can forward the data. Links are the communications pathways between them. Then we have two general kind of nodes, intermediate node and node. And node are also referred to as hosts, right? So host can be a client or it can be a server, right? So now we have the client server network or we have peer-to-peer network. So client server network is like centralized kind of network and peer-to-peer network is decentralized kind of network. Now network can be understood as having appliances, applications and functions. Appliances can be a physical hardware or it can be a virtual machine. Then applications are the shared set of services on that network. And then functions are the capability to the network to do specific things. Like the VPN is the capability we are adding to the network so that it can access the company resources, or the security capability of a virtual private network allow devices to join a local network from across the internet. So that is what we have covered in this today. Thank you.